Like many women, I was diagnosed with ADHD in my adulthood. And once I received that diagnosis and looked into it, my entire life started to make more sense. As a homemaker, it can be a struggle, but also a great outlet. I don't look at having ADHD as a disability or something that's negative, but the way our world works is not always beneficial to us. The constant repetitive tasks of cleaning, object permanence, and the ability to forget things exist the second that they're out of sight. Either running 100 miles an hour or being a complete potato for the day, it can be a challenge. So I find it's necessary to play into my strengths and let my hyperfixations take over, while also asking for help when I need it. Putting systems into place in our house that helps myself and my family function a lot better. I heard once how ADHD brain was compared to a hunter's brain for the hunter and gatherers. So you have your people who are your gatherers, and then your people who are your hunters. And our brains developed so that there were hunters and gatherers. But the way that the world exists today is mainly made for the gatherers. So if you think about it, people with ADHD who have a hunter's brain struggle with repetitive tasks, and I know that is a struggle for myself as well. So cleaning and laundry and dishes, all the basic household needs are very repetitive. If you think about a gatherer's brain, or someone who is neurotypical who may not struggle with the repetitive tasks like this, a gatherer's brain would be used to repetitive tasks like going to pick out berries every day or forage for root vegetables or any sort of foraging. It's very repetitive. So to a neurotypical brain, the repetitive tasks don't seem like a huge deal. But to somebody with ADHD whose brain is wired to literally look on the horizon, to find movement, to look for any difference in the scenery and fixate on that, literally your brain is going squirrel all day long. And being a homemaker where your brain is screaming squirrel while you're trying to do the repetitive tasks of cleaning and laundry and dishes, it can be a huge challenge. So you have to try and find hacks and things that work for you to help you manage through that distraction. I know for me, right before I got diagnosed, one of the pivotal moments that happened was that I was in the kitchen and I was preserving 5 different things. I had a whack load of zucchini and I was working through it, and I had the canner going and I had a pot going with some relish in it, and I was blanching things, and I was very busy in the kitchen, and my brain halfway through decided that I should be painting my china cabinet, and that's what I went and started doing literally while things on the stove were still going. And that was a pivotal moment for me to go get my diagnosis, because I realized that I just was not working as efficiently as I could be. And I realized things just weren't quite quote unquote normal. And like I said, everything made sense in my life after that. But a great tool for me to use throughout the day that I now use all the time, and it's funny because I look back at my mother, who I am certain also has ADHD, and I noticed how she did this when we were younger, is that she'll write down to-do lists with check marks so that I can go through my day and check mark things that I've completed. And that check mark is just a little hit of dopamine in my days that I know that I have completed a task and now I get a check mark from it. And if I'm having a really hard day, then maybe I could be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to get the check mark. And then maybe afterwards, I'm going to sit down with a coffee, or I'm going to read my book, or some sort of other reward that I can give myself after completing a repetitive task. I've also talked a lot in the past about romanticizing our lives and romanticizing these chores, because they can, if you let them, be drudgery. They can certainly bring you down if you let it. So having a mindset around it being romantic, about it being whimsical, about it being super beneficial, and literally changing your mindset about these tasks is also incredibly beneficial to me, especially as I work through being a homemaker with ADHD. It's part of why I like making the homemade bread and I enjoy making the fun desserts and the good meals, is because it is part of romanticizing those things in my life and just making them more enjoyable. Something else I struggle with, and I've talked about this in the past, is the out of sight, out of mind mindset or challenge that becomes an issue when you have ADHD. Is the second that something is out of sight, then it's something that you completely forget even exists. Like this bread that I'm making right now, I literally forgot about it this day 3 times. I forgot I was even making bread 3 full times. So each time that I put it away, because I put a towel over it and then I put it over my stove to get warm, I forget about it because I'm moving on to other tasks. It's not something that I can complete while I am working on it. So I literally forgot it was there 3 times. And you'll see at the end that I let it rise a little bit too much before I got it into the oven because I forgot it was there. This can be a challenge with my food storage as well. Something, again, I have discussed, that if it's down in the basement where I'm hoping to actually have some food storage, I can forget about it because it's out of sight, out of mind. And many people have suggested lists, which are a great idea, having a list at the doorway that I can look at all the time. Now, the only problem with that is that I have to keep the list current, which means it's a repetitive task. So it can be it might become a challenge. I'm definitely going to do a list and make sure that I can look through that list and have it there just in case, and we'll see how I deal with it. But a list can be a great tool, but like I said, it can also become a repetitive task if I'm constantly having to update it. So we're going to try it and see how that list works for me. My other pantries, I like to have kind of out in the open. So they're in my mudroom and they're just shelves. I've shown you guys before. And that way it's kind of just, it's out there, it's in front of me, and I can see what we've got going on over there. So that's super helpful for me. Cooking can also become a repetitive task. I do love to experiment with new meals. You guys see all the time I'm putting videos out doing new budget meals, and that kind of keeps things new and fun and exciting. But there are times where, and I know many women go through this, where you're just done with cooking. You don't want to cook anymore. It's tiring, and just the mental load of even thinking about what is for dinner. It's not even the task of cooking. It's literally thinking about what is for dinner that is the problem. So it's the mental load of that can be really heavy sometimes. For these instances, I do love putting together freezer meals and having lots in the freezer that I can choose from for days where I have just had it with cooking and don't want to do it anymore. Just like this meal that I've put together here, a sausage and butternut squash pasta. If you're looking for that recipe, it's over on my Patreon page, another creator page that I have, where I have exclusive content that I do not share anywhere else. So if you're looking for that, I will make sure that I have that linked in the description box. Head on over there and see what I have. To help with cleaning, I also like to compartmentalize things. So I'm not going to take on cleaning the whole house all the time. I'm going to clean one room per day of the week. So on this day, I'll be cleaning the kitchen. On another day, I might do the living room, and then I'll do a bedroom or things like that. And that way I can just say that task is completed and my brain isn't squirreling out about all the different rooms and the different things that I have to clean that day. Because cleaning can definitely be one thing where you end up all over the place and you're not being as efficient as you could be, because first you're picking up laundry, then you're mopping the floor, then you're cleaning a window, then you're picking up this or that. And where if you could just focus on one room per day instead of focusing on doing all the other tasks around the house, then the house ends up being cleaner and more tidy in the end. And those are the repetitive chores, but there's also the extra chores, the little things that need done on occasion. This could be things like going to the post office or paying a bill that doesn't normally come. It's not a regular bill. Or for me, I have to shave my dog every now and again. So grooming the dog. So things like that, I like to break up into one per day. As long as I tackle one of those chores per day, then I'm good. And again, I add that to my checklist. Today, I'm doing my kids' advent calendar. We like to do activities instead of buying things. And a lot of those activities are giving back, like giving to the food bank or giving to a women's shelter or taking cookies to the firefighters or the policemen. So I like to make notes like that, and then I stick them in their advent calendar so we can do one per day during the holiday season. And lastly, the thing that I do that helps me as a homemaker with ADHD is to ask for help. I know this is hard, especially as a homemaker. You want to do it all. You want to make sure that the house is spick and span, the dishes are always done, the meals are always cooked, and everybody's happy. But sometimes that can lead to some serious burnout, especially if you have ADHD. This can cause some harm to you, and then you are, again, not as efficient in the future. So if you need help, make sure you're asking for it. Not to mention, those kids can do some chores, right? So I make sure that my kids are helping out with the animals. They're doing the feeding and they're letting the dogs out and things like that. And they are helping with dishes and they are helping with cooking and they are making their beds and doing their laundry. So I typically actually don't even do a lot of laundry anymore because my children do it. So that's taken one repetitive task off my list. So when I need help, I make sure I ask for it or I delegate. So meaning that I'm going to let my kids know that this is the chore that they do need to do. And not only does that help me, but it also helps them in their future to get to know some hard work, to know how to look after themselves. And it just helps their brain development and their self-confidence to know that they can do the things, that they can look after themselves. So if you have ADHD and you are a homemaker and you're struggling, know that you're not alone and that you're not wrong, you're not different, that your brain is just functioning like a hunter's brain and not like a gatherer's brain. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you guys next time.